up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hello.
No Carrie this week, which for this first part is not a bad thing because this way we can properly mourn just an abysmally sad circumstance. So I beat Mass Effect 2 this weekend, completed it, did all the side missions, did all the loyalty missions, did all that stuff. And so I'm thinking, it's like, all right, did all the loyalty missions, like we should be good. Everyone should make it. I bought all the ship upgrades, so we should be fine. Picked my squad, like picked my dude, my people to lead the specific aspect of the missions correctly. Did all that. What I forgot is that there is a background process where even if you do the loyalty missions, if you let them linger, like if you receive the mission and then kind of let it sit out there for a long period of time without actually conducting it, that also can possibly give you the chance of someone not surviving through the final ordeal. And so because of that, Borden is dead.
Wow. I did not know that. I didn't know that was a thing, that loyalty missions were time based.
Yeah. I also lost all of my crew except for Dr. Chakwas, but I figured that was going to happen because I did a lot of cleaning up after finding the Reaper IFF. So those guys died. Dr. Chakwas got mad at me, but I had to scan planets and stuff.
Oh yeah, no.
The relays.
I made sure to do. I think I've done everything except for Shadow Broker.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm on Legion's loyalty mission now.
Yeah,
and that's it. Then I it's on the road to this 100% and this platinum, and I'm gonna be pissed if somebody, because I didn't like Jack was the last one to do that. I did, but I got her mission kind of early.
Oh, see, I don't know what's gonna happen now.
Right. So
I don't know what's gonna happen. So it sucks because he didn't even get a good death. Like he didn't even die on screen. It was the worst kind of death because basically, so go through the collector base and probably should have prefaced this with Mass Effect 2 spoilers, but again, the game's been out for 11 years.
Yeah, come on.
It's fine. So skip ahead 10 minutes if you don't want to hear the rest of this. Go through the collector base. No problems. Everything's hunky-dory. Get to the giant Terminator. Kill that thing super fast. I don't even think it got a hit on me the entire time. I murdered the hell out of it. And it's time to go back. And so I'm like, hey Joker, did everyone make it back to the ship? And he was like, yeah, everyone that survived is here. I'm like, okay, cool. That must mean everybody, because he didn't mention anyone died. So that's cool. And so on the way back to the ship, there's this little mini cutscene that has, you see a lot of dead collector bodies on the ground. And then I saw a glimpse of a Solarian, but it was a tight shot. It wasn't clear that it was Morden. Who else could it be? But, I'm just fuck. I'm it's was that Morden? I don't think so. I was I feel like if he had died, someone would have said something, or, I would have seen it happen.
Yeah.
So I get on the ship, run away from the collectors, get on the ship. I blew up the base because fuck the elusive man. And we got out of Dodge, and that all happened. And then during the end cutscene, my shepherd's standing over one casket, and I'm like,
wow,
oh no. I hope this didn't happen. So then I get back on the ship, and I go to the the memorial that's on the that's in there, and right there said Morden Solus.
Wow.
And I was and the tech labs. I walking through the tech labs, and I got a little wistful, Micah, because the desk was empty, and Morden is dead.
Wow.
Which is very sad.
That stinks. That stinks.
On the plus side, that will save me from some tears next game, which is a plus.
Oh
So
man.
instead, I think Malin's there instead of him in Mass Effect 3 if he does not survive.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be real pissed
Mm-hmm.
if somebody dies.
Just because of the trophy.
Just because of the trophy. And like, while Insanity is not a difficult mode,
right,
it's incredibly tedious. Like,
I mean, next time you play through the game, like if you're really just trying to do cleanup, you could just kick it down on.
I'm just gonna,
I'm bulldoze it. So
when I play it again, because I have to also get like I have like 70 more melee kills to get.
Well,
and I can't get those things on.
Well, we'll talk about that because the other thing. So I started Mass Effect 3, and I gotta tell you, I didn't get a chance to ever play through these like back to back before. So doing so really gives you an appreciation for the improvements that the series made over time, because when you get to experience them right after one another. And the combat in 3, I forgot just how good it was and how good it was in comparison to the rest of the series. I'm a fucking biotic murdering machine in Mass Effect 3. because they really figured it out. Like after 2 games, they really figured out the power set, how to combine them to make them feel good. Doesn't matter which class you are. You know, I'm fucking charging dudes and then laying down, like charging into one guy into a group of enemies and then laying down a Nova and then fucking ball it out. And I'm like having Liara like put up a singularity and charging into that, or throwing incinerates in there. It's great. It's just a really fun game to play. And they also made melee like usable in Mass Effect 3 because you have the heavy attack that you can do.
Yeah.
Which is a great finisher because it's very easy to, like, especially as biotic, like charge dudes and then just like finish them off with the heavy melee. So I don't think you'll have as big of a problem as you think you will collecting those melee kills.
Yeah, because they're a bit of a pain in the butt, man. Like, I just did Legion's mission to acquire him, and that's like a husk mission, right? Yeah. Like, it's just husks all over the place. And those damn husks all have armor. All of them.
Oh, are they sad? Oh, they do on Insanity?
Yeah, every single one of them has armor on before their health meter, including the fiery ones that blow up.
I hope you have some incendiary ammo with you.
Yeah, man, because this is it's a pain in the butt, man. And like, they keep coming. Like, it's like there's a lot of saving. There's a lot of pausing and saving. I'm pressing the touchpad after every encounter just to see if I can put my gun away so that I can save, because it's a pain. But yeah, I'm trying to get that. I'll probably get it done tomorrow and start 3, and then immediately start my next playthrough, my Renegade playthrough with Lady Shepherd, because Lady Shepherd, Renegade Lady Shepherd is the way to play Lady Shepherd, in my opinion. Like, she's having so much fun, whereas like Mark Meer, his voice is it's built for, I've got to stick up my ass and I know how to use it. You know what I mean? Like, he's a goody 2-shoes voice, right? But Jennifer Hale's voice is versatile. It can be either or. So that'll be my Renegade playthrough. But anyway,
so it's a good sign. Oh, before we get out of new stuff, I've been playing a lot of just like yesterday. Like, I played so much Mass Effect over the last 3 weeks, I was just like, I want to play mostly anything else. Played a lot of Smash Brothers yesterday. Like, I picked up Smash Brothers for the first time in a while. Well, so here's the thing. So like, I was going through my Switch and I was updating a bunch of games that had updates that the Switch was like, you haven't played these in a while, so we're not going to worry about it. so I was updating stuff, and for some reason, like, I've been watching so much like video game music stuff on YouTube that I was like, let me hop into Smash Brothers and check out some of the tunes in there that I've unlocked and things of that nature. And then like, I played a couple Spirit board battles because I hadn't played in a while. I was like, oh, let me just fuck around with this, and that led to me playing for like 3 hours. So like that was the thing. I played some Mario Kart. To come back to that, I finally played the Hyrule Warriors demo for the new one that just came out. Not a game for me at all. I can discern that after playing the first level. I'm like, this isn't for me. That's okay. Not my jam. And I bought Torchlight 2 because it was on sale for like $12. It was like dirt cheap. And I heard Torchlight 2 is actually better than Torchlight 3. Torchlight 3 doesn't have a kind word anyone to say on the internet about it. But I just wanted to play like a dungeon crawl game on my Switch. And so I haven't started it yet, but I'll be dabbling with that here and there.
Torchlight is fun. I played the first and second one. I heard the same thing about 3, so I didn't bother with 3. Yeah. But yeah, I think you'll like Torchlight. It's like scaled back Diablo. It's like
I really would just like to play Diablo on my Switch, but since you can't transfer progress across, like they don't have cross save, I'm not starting.
Yeah, no.
Like absolutely not. Even though apparently on Switch you can jump into adventure mode right away, apparently. So it's kind of like Season 2, but still, like no, I want my characters. I built in case I have a wild hair on my ass to play with them. So yeah, I'll dabble with that here and there. I'm just excited that I've been blowing through Mass Effect because this means I'll probably actually be able to play Ratchet and Clank next week when it releases.
Oh man,
we're not soon thereafter, at least.
It is June, isn't it?
It is June. Speaking of June, you're in for a good month on Xbox when the strap line on the article on Polygon that announces the games with gold says Xbox games with gold offers Injustice, Gods Among Us in June, plus 3 games Polygon has never written about. So you know we're in for a good time. So your Xbox One games that are free are The King's Bird, which is free for the entire month of June, and then Shadows Awakening, which is free from the 16th through July 15th. And then the Xbox 360 games that are available are the aforementioned Injustice 1, which is available from June 16th through 30th. The beginning half of the month, you get Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, which is a game that came out originally in 2005 on the PlayStation 2.
I think I remember playing that game. I don't remember enjoying it too much.
I've never heard a word said about it, kind or otherwise. So
yeah, it's an SNK fighter. Like you gotta be like really into those, and I just am not.
So on PlayStation, the pickings are a little bit more robust. So we have Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown, which Sega just announced was coming out recently. Basically, it's an update for Virtua Fighter 5. You also have Star Wars Squadrons for free during the month of June. So why not? I'll kick the tires on that. Why not? For free?
Yeah.
And then also on PlayStation 5, you get Operation Tango, which is described as a cooperative spy game for 2 players who take on the roles of agent and hacker, working to infiltrate, investigate, and eradicate the forces threatening the 3 world. Apparently, to play the game, both players have to have a microphone because you have to have voice chat in order to play the game properly.
Oh, wow.
So that's an interesting concept and a perfect game to give away for free, because that'll get a hell of a lot more people to play it than probably would have purchased it had you just released it for pay and get some free.
Yeah, especially when you're mandating people interact with one another.
Other games that are coming out this week. So the Elder Scrolls Online is getting its newest Blackwood expansion on PC and Google Stadia. The aforementioned Operation Tango comes to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, but again, free on PlayStation 5. Stonefly comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. Super Animal Royale comes to Xbox. World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic comes to PC. Hoko Life comes to PC. The Magnificent Truffle Pigs comes to PC. Pro Cycling Manager 2021 on PC. Tour de France 2021 on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Winds of Change comes to Nintendo Switch. DC Superhero Girls Teen Power comes to Switch. Evergate comes to PS5. The Last Kids on Earth and the Staff of Doom comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch. The Persistence Enhanced comes to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. That's just the enhanced edition of the Persistence. Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 comes to PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and Mighty Goose comes to PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Apparently, Winds of Change. Would you like to guess what Winds of Change is? Just give the broadest possible guess you could possibly give. I guarantee you won't get it.
I would have to imagine that this is a video game spin-off of the recent Serial podcast that released a few months ago. It is a text adventure game where you play as the CIA trying to get the 80s hair band, the Scorpions, to write a rock ballad to help end communism in late 80s Soviet Europe.
You're closer than I ever thought you'd be. It is a text-based adventure game.
All right.
With furries. There's just a bunch of animals here. There's a bunch of anthropomorphic animals, and not like anthropomorphic animals like the mascot era in video games, like anthropomorphic animals as in I'm a human, I have a human body with a wolf head. It's the experience the ultimate furry tale. That's the tagline. Lead a rebellion to bring peace back to a land tarnished by unjust and cruel rulers. Delve into the fully voiced, captivating story, accentuated by stunning art, difficult choice, and deep relationships. Okay, I'm going away from this right now. I don't need something.
It's a good thing we have a decent video game summer on the horizon, because otherwise this would be a really rough year. When does Death Proof come?
Explore a mature dark fantasy setting. Yo, this really is for furries. No, thank you. All right, I'm done. Look, I get it, Nintendo. You want some more adult oriented content, but I think you're doing too much here. Deathloop comes out in September. I'm really hoping it was August. Did you see the previews, by the way, for that? I meant to ask. Nope, because you told me not to, because you told me that I would buy it, and I really don't want to. I don't want to have to buy it. It looks really good. like they're doing the this isn't a roguelike in the same way that Destiny's like this isn't an MMO kind of thing. Oh man. All right, I might check it out after we get off the show today. Hopefully I'll forget, because I don't want to have to buy it, because I will. Yeah. But anyway, look, you can interact with us on Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans, and you get an invite. And that's it. You're in. We're not gatekeepers. We don't want to leave you out. We want you to come in and enjoy all of the Dense Pixels goodness. While you're on the internet, go to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribe. You can have us playing at work while you're supposed to be working. While you're there, smash that like button. Leave a comment, smash the like button, and click the notification bell to be notified. I'm a YouTuber, guys. Subscribe to all the TMP Studios podcasts wherever you get your podcasts, including the Nerd Apocalypse, Black on Black Cinema. Look, if you're a fan of Black on Black Cinema, we just had our 200th episode with a bad movie. But you're really going to want to listen to it if you're a long-term fan of the show. You're really going to want to listen to it. Coming distractions. I think the last movie we did was Army of the Dead, which is not a good movie. Mm-hmm. It's not a movie you should waste your time on, but you listen to Coming Distractions to find out why. And the weekly preview episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast, when the producer of the Look Forward Political Podcast actually produces the show. If that's not enough, you can go to densepixels.com/premium for $5 a month or $50 for a year. You get access to the premium slate of podcasts, including the airing of grievances, which is back on a regular schedule. We're doing 2 of them. We're recording 2 of them tomorrow. So they're coming. It's a steady drip feed. No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, more on that later, Upstage Conversation, and the full episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast, when the producer of the Look Forward Political Podcast decides that he actually wants to produce a show.
Now look, episode of Upstage came out this week. Me and Carrie talked about Damn Yankees.
There you go.
58. So
it's a musical I've never heard of, because it doesn't involve a man-eating plant. Look, The Men with the Golden Tongues is returning. I've spoken to those guys, and I've got it on good authority that they will be recording. Some might say too well. You know, they're kind of clingy. Like, chill out, guys. And I have it on good authority that they have scheduled a show. And if you are a fan of this podcast, you are going to want to listen to that show. Do you want to give it away, or do you want to wait until it's actually?
I've been trying to figure out how to like tease it. You know what I mean? I've been trying to figure out ways that we can like tease it to not make it super obvious. Like a really sly or like a slithery way of kind of getting a tease in there for the episode without making it obvious.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a cigarette break and think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to think of something with punctuation.
Yeah.
But I'm emphatic about it, that this is going to be something that you will enjoy.
Yeah.
So yes, densepixels.com/premium.
Yeah. So in the news this week, so there's an investor call for CD Projekt Red, and one of the questions they were asked during the investor call was, when is this game going to be back on the PlayStation? And CD Projekt Red answer, we don't know. According to Adam Kaczynski, who is, I think he's one of the head ups at CDPR. He says, I have no new information about this regard. We're still in discussions, and with every patch, the game gets better and there's visible progress. But as we said, the decision is an exclusive decision of Sony, so we were waiting for information about the fact that they took the decision to bring back this game. That's a verbatim quote. I did not misquote that. Until then, I'm not able to tell you anything more. How do you not know, or at least have a general idea, when you can expect to see the game back?
Because they're not following up. I guarantee you, this is not on Sony's. This is not top of mind for the folks at Sony. This is their responsibility. I don't think
it's top of mind for the folks at CDPR.
Apparently not. Like, this is their job to hound them and to be like, hey, can we get our game back on the store? They're not waiting for you.
Are they like, we sold enough copies that we'll worry about it when it gets there?
Like, come on, man. Jesus. Yeah, you gotta make some move. Look, I've worked for local government for a very long time, and if it's one thing I know, is that if you want somebody to move, you gotta move them. Mm-hmm. Like, you gotta hound them, and they're not just gonna put your game back on the stores. They have their own stuff they want to sell, that they want to really push. So, yeah, this is wild, man. Like, I wonder what the loss in revenue is for this thing just not being on one of the major platforms.
It's tough, right? Because it's in many ways it's incalculable. However that word's supposed to be said. It's not able to be calculated because not only do you have the refunds that they did have to issue out, which I'm sure that CDPR is on the hook for, because Sony wasn't going to eat that shit. But you don't truly know, A, how many people didn't buy it, or B, how many people bought it, but bought it on another platform that would have bought it on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Things of that nature as well. And also in lost revenue, like when this does eventually come back out on PlayStation, because you imagine it does have to at some point, can they justify putting it up for $60 right away? You know what I mean? Like I feel like you have to have the $20 off Goodwill sale as soon as it gets back there.
Yeah.
And so now you're losing $20 a copy. So it's not good. It continues to not be good. And I mean, if the game re-releases and it's, you know, amazingly fixed, I guess you get a bit of a redemption story, but I don't know. I feel like people are going to have a really sour taste in their mouth for a while from how this was handled. So
I think people, I think the people that were going to buy this game bought it. I think the people that, what I'm saying is, I don't think anybody's mind is going to be changed.
Yeah.
Once this thing gets back on the PlayStation Store, I don't think people are going to be like, "Oh, well, let me try it now." Nah, we don't live in that kind of society. If you really wanted to play this game, you stuck through it. You know what I mean? Like if it was too much, then you're done.
Mhm.
You didn't even play it, but like
I played through the prelude, as it were. So.
Right. And it was like, nope, I can't do this anymore. I think there are people in your camp, and I think there were people in my camp who played it and it was fine. And I the only reason it was fine is because I played it on a next gen system.
Yeah, and that's and the other problem is it's not like the industry is going to take a pause for Cyberpunk to reintroduce itself. Like there's going to be other games coming out around that time that have people's interest and things of that nature as well. So
right, like you're never going to get as good as what that opening salvo was. Like you're just not. Nope.
So we talked a few weeks ago about the discontent at IGN related to a pro-Palestine post that was put up by their editorial team that was pulled down by IGN's management. A lot of angry IGN writers have been demanding answers, and they still have not gotten them. What they got, though, was a memo from, I think, I don't know what his position is inside of IGN, but he's like the head guy at IGN, in the office at IGN, who is Per Schneider, who sent an internal memo out that was leaked out to news outlets. And he's the one that took responsibility for the post coming down, though I doubt it was his decision. But also, instead of kind of identifying where the blame lies, he blamed, quote, an editorial team process failure for the post to go live in the first place.
Oh, come on, yo. Jesus, dude.
So basically, the memo that was sent out to IGN staff pretty much put the onus on them. He called the situation a challenging scenario, his words. Again, reminder, the only thing that the post did was it linked to like pro-Palestine charities for Palestinian aid. That's a challenging scenario. And also he said that he thanked the employees who signed the open letter demanding accountability for this, but pointed to, you know, quote, an unspecified number of people who were upset about the post going up, and say, well, but you know, what about these guys? So, you know, these IGN employees were hurt by the original position, as well as intimidated to the point where they will not speak up other than in a confidential setting. The article that I'm reading from, so this is from Waypoint, talks about how sports blog Deadspin, the older iteration of Deadspin, used to wade into political waters as well, and they were told frequently by their managing editors to stick to sports and not wade into politics, and then the entire staff quit, basically. So basically, Per Schneider not really giving the answers that people were looking for, and instead blaming the people seeking the answers in the first place.
Jesus Christ.
Word is that people were not too happy as an IGN writers about this memo coming down. One IGN employee said on background, quote, most staff are struggling right now to even enjoy their jobs. And during our busiest time of year with E3 coming up, people are beyond stressed and feel they have no one to speak with about it above due to the lack of trust now with leadership. I wouldn't be surprised if people quit over this due to the lack of trust and clear disrespect. So, yeah, not... I don't know.
What's the point of having an editorial team?
Well, and also to release that memo like 2 days later when feelings are still, because that's when the memo was released to IGN staff. It didn't come out.
So it was later. Yo, come on,
like when feelings are still raw. Like that's insane. Like the image, like Per Schneider talks about, like, oh, there, some people were upset by the imagery. The imagery that they're referring to was the incorporation of the Palestinian flag into the IGN logo at the top of the page on the post. Like that's what they were talking about. Yeah, like I said,
this is really, look, I'm not gonna, I get it. I do. I at the risk of sounding like some sort of corporate shill, I understand their perspective.
Well, no,
and I certainly understand.
To be fair, to use your parlance, the IGN Palestine conflict is a sticky wicket.
Man, like it is. Like, I understand the editorial team wanted to editorialize,
right?
And I understand, you're running a business. I get it. It's just this. I don't know.
Here's the problem. It's one thing if the IGN like news side decides that this is a stance they're gonna take unilaterally. That's not okay in that case, because at that point you're representing IGN as a whole. Mm-hmm. In this case, like you said, this was editorial. Editorial is supposed to exist separate and apart from straight news. Like they're not supposed to be there to carry the banner of the company in the things that they're writing. It's editorial. It's supposed to be opinion. It's supposed to be a little bit more freewheeling. It's supposed to be a little bit more loose. Not one single person of the news side of IGN put their name to that post. It was entirely the editorial side of the industry. Now, plenty more people from the news side put their names on the open letter, being like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
like to IGN when the post got pulled down. And again, to still not be able to talk to the staff about why the post was pulled down. Again, give them a reason. Like, it might not be a reason that they like, but give them a reason as to why.
Right.
The problem is that you don't want to say what the reason is, because then you're afraid of pissing off, a whole nother subset of people, or how you'd be interpreted in that case. I mean, you could say just the reason was like, this was too inflammatory given the circumstances around the conflict. Right. That's probably the best you can do, honestly.
Right. And I understand, like, most people don't really have a grasp of this, and those that do, they have strong feelings about it. I 100% understand that. But like you said, if they just give it, just tell it to you straight, man, and let the chips fall where they may. If the editorial team doesn't like that answer, they can leave. But at least
that's probably what's going to happen anyway.
Right. And it's going to happen. And now it's going to happen anyway. And now you have, and because you're like doing it like on the sly and trying to be kind of sneaky and just not communicating, it's gonna make the corporation look bad.
And here's the thing, though, is so, like, obviously, like, we're in a completely different boat because we are not owned by a giant corporation that we have to worry about representing. We can say whatever the fuck we want. I would still like if I said an opinion that was a completely fair opinion to have, and I justified it with, facts, and Jay, listened to it and it's like, hey, you can't have that, you can't state that opinion on air because it conflicts with what we as TNP Studios thinks. It's gonna make me think twice about about my relationship with the company and Jay, because part of the reason that we're able to do what we do and why you guys tune in every week is because we tell it like it is. We shoot from the hip. We don't sugarcoat stuff. You're getting us. You know what I mean? You're getting us. Right. And if you work in editorial and your publication doesn't have your back like that, then you don't have much in that case.
Right.
Yeah, you got to be able to go out on a limb and for the branch not to break, to work in editorial. And like I said, it's the trust that's shattered that is hard to get back. It's hard to build that up again. So, like I said,
yeah, man,
we'll see what happens. But like I said, not looking promising right now with the this recent bit of news coming out. Bit of advice, Micah. If you were ever planning to defraud Nintendo, don't do that. They will fuck you up. We mentioned probably offhand about 18 months ago or a little more, Nintendo was suing a pirated game seller. It's called ROM Universe for $15 million in damage for selling pirated Nintendo games, essentially. They didn't get $15 million, but the judge did decide in their favor for the low sum of $2.1 million that this guy who runs this company now has to pay to Nintendo. The Matthew Storman, who operated the now defunct company, his argument in court was, well, he didn't upload the pirated games himself, so he can't be held liable for their distribution. However, Nintendo pointed out the fact that he was offering memberships for $30 a year, which lets subscribers download the games faster than non-subscribers and making a profit from Nintendo's product, essentially. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, don't do that. This follows a $12.2 million settlement they had won previously against another ROM seller beforehand. They, of course, have a couple of criminal cases out against other hackers as well. So, yeah, do not pirate Nintendo stuff. Anyone listening out there,
you should. Given Nintendo's reputation with, how they handle their IP within the business, you think they're not going to come for you?
Yeah.
You better get out of here, man.
To get up in your ass and they said, don't fuck around. That man fucked around and he definitely found out.
They don't even want the free advertisement of like having their games at fighting game tournaments without some sort of fealty being paid to them. So no, man. Like, no. Well.
The cross-platform update, the cross-play update for Borderlands 3 is coming very soon. The bad news, however, though, is apparently Gearbox has been forced to pull PlayStation support for the cross-play update. So you will only be able to play with your friends on Mac, Stadia, Windows, and Xbox, not on PlayStation. We did find out through the Apple Epic trial transcripts that apparently Sony has been charging publishers and developers for the privilege of allowing crossplay on their platform. And I guess 2K and or Gearbox did not want to pay the premium fee in order to get crossplay on PlayStation. That sucks. It really seemed like that Sony was taking a more gregarious view on crossplay, despite being very hesitant and not embracing it when things first started rolling along. But I guess we found out that there is a fee associated with that, and I guess if you don't pay the toll, then you don't get the crossplay on PlayStation. But I mean, it just sucks because it's bad for it sucks for gamers ultimately.
Yeah, it does. I like to spin it as Randy Pitchford does not care about the gamers.
It's an interesting way to turn that.
You're not willing to look. You're a magician. Just pull a bunch of quarters from behind your ear.
Yeah,
and pay the fine.
Where's that 150 million that you got from Epic Games for that 6-month exclusivity?
Yeah, there you go.
Spent that already. So yeah, that's a bummer though. I don't like hearing that.
Yeah, that stinks.
And especially because, like I said, how much more are you really going to get from the game if you're Sony now? You know what I mean? Like like 90% of the copies of Borderlands 3 that are probably ever going to be sold have been sold at this point. Yeah. So, DLC is already out there. It's not like there's more DLC coming that we know about. So it's not.
Yeah, like if this was like something new, fresh, like I get it, right? You want to strike while the iron's hot, but like game's been out for quite a long time.
Yeah. Almost 2 years, if you can believe that.
Wow.
I know. Time does not stop for anybody. So does not stop for anybody. So Carrie nailed it. We talked, one of the questions in the post office last week was who do you think we're going to see leaks from before E3? And Carrie said E3 or Sony. And she had to wait just days, literal days, like 2 days after we recorded the podcast. A Battlefield 6 video that was meant for internal use within EA has now gone online for people to view to their heart's content. It is confirmed that the title will take place in a near future setting. I guess kind of similar to what Advanced Warfare in the Call of Duty series, I think, was a near future.
Yeah, Advanced Warfare was near future. The one that came after that, they had spaceships and shit.
Yes. Yeah. And it was apparently this is not the reveal trailer that EA planned to publish in a couple weeks. I sure hope it's not, because yeah, otherwise they'll have to make a whole new one in a real short amount of time. And the even funnier thing is in the video there's a black rectangle in the middle of the screen because EA watermarked it. And so they covered up the watermark so that they couldn't help ID where the leak came from, essentially. So that's pretty funny. So again, the official reveal is coming supposedly within the next week or two. Probably timed out around E3, one imagines. So
yeah, wow, yeah, no kidding. Epilepsy warning. This thing is kind of flickering all over the place.
Yeah. So I can't bring myself to still care about any Battlefield game though. So it is what it is.
No, I've never been a Battlefield guy. I just I'm perfectly, if I'm going to play a shooting gallery, first person shooting gallery, I'll stick with what I know. The arcadey goodness that is Call of Duty. And even then, I'm over it.
More investor call news. EA took home just in Ultimate Team last year across FIFA, Madden, and NHL, $1.62 billion in the fiscal year 2021, which runs from April of 2020 through March of 2021. That is an increase over 1.49 billion from fiscal year 2020. It's been steadily increasing over the past 6 years. Apparently, Ultimate Team revenue accounts for 29% of EA's entire net revenue during fiscal year 2021.
God damn.
With FIFA delivering, quote, a substantial portion of the net revenue for Ultimate Team. And by substantial portion, it's probably like 90% of it is.
Yeah, man. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, so EA, like I said, with just one mode and one game, making all the money. All the money.
A third of their revenue?
Yeah.
Damn near?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, dude.
That's a lot of fucking money. And again, just while you're there, just remember that 5.6 billion in total revenue is still dwarfed by Fortnite by itself. just to give you an idea of where Epic's sitting.
Who is buying these things? Like I understand like there are people who just like, I just want to meet I want to meet a whale.
So
right?
There are a lot of FIFA YouTubers out there, and those guys easily spend in the thousands of dollars every year on that stuff, but it's a business expense. It's a business expense. Believe me when I tell you that the most successful ones are making much more than they're putting in to it. You know what I mean? Like it's literally a business expense. I'd imagine there are non-YouTubers that are also whales, though, that are probably also spending in the thousands of dollars every year. I mean, this is why that there's so much legislation around this that countries are trying to enact, because it is literally gambling. Like you're literally pulling a slot machine every fucking time, and there are people that have addictive tendencies that aren't going to stop doing that. And you see it, and it's not just Ultimate Team. We've talked ad nauseum on the show about other like predatory practices that do this. Loot boxes in general are like this. Gotcha games are like this as well. But yeah, like there are definitely, it'd be interesting to know, like, you know how, like, you know, the fact, you know, that half the wealth in the country is in the US is, you know, held by the top, you know, 10% of the country kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's probably that, like, it's literally like 90% of the expenditure is probably being done by like 7% of the players.
Wow.
Which is insane. But yeah, so like I said, EA still doing all right.
Yeah, man. Wow. They yeah, and you know, I was wondering like, wow, why, you know, you would think that EA would maybe, I don't know, fight a little harder to get some more sports licenses so that they can keep this going, but like it doesn't matter.
And look, here's the thing. Even if they got an MLB license and started making sim baseball games again, MLB Ultimate Team is not going to have the same. It'll be more akin to, like, it'll be in between Madden and NHL in terms of how much revenue it brings in. Because Sony does a de facto Ultimate Team in the show, and I don't see them like shouting from the rooftops. I mean, we saw that internal document get passed around last week that talked about that, but it ain't 1.6 billion. I can tell you that it ain't even close to a billion.
So soccer is the number one sport in the world. What's
Correct.
like the number 2 sport in the world?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Can you guess?
Lacrosse?
No, it's oh my god. Lacrosse is not a world sport. It is not even a U.S. sport.
It's a Maryland sport.
Yeah, it's an East Coast sport. No, Formula One is actually number 2.
Oh wow!
In the world,
Yeah, in the world. So does EA have an F1 game?
Now they do.
Oh man! Oh shit!
Yeah, with the Codemasters acquisition, they do. I told you, wait for F1 Ultimate Team. I don't know how you're gonna do it with only 20 drivers to choose from, but yeah, look out for F1 Ultimate Team to come to FIFA 2022 or F1 2022. No, they at least they have all the licenses that are worth having. And even some they don't, because really the NHL, I don't know what they do with NHL at this point, because NHL is not a huge mover, and I say that as a huge hockey fan. So and as a former avid player of the series, no less.
Oh man.
Just a news blip for you. The E3 press conferences are starting to roll out. Microsoft and Bethesda are going to be Sunday, June 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. I will look. Well, you know what? Is it too early for us to make plans to do a watch along on Discord with that? Or perhaps even on Twitch?
What time?
1 p.m. Eastern.
1 p.m. It might be. Let's talk after the show.
All right. At least worst case, Worst case scenario, I will at least do a live voice chat on Discord. If not, a Twitch watch along with somebody, whether it's Mike or Carrie.
Yeah. I would like to be on it, but I gotta check with the boss.
Oh, I understand. Finally, Micah, we were born too far ago, because now at some high schools in the United States, you can letter in Splatoon 2 or Smash Brothers.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a company called Play Versus who literally exists to try to get Scholastic esports to be a thing.
Wow.
And they partnered with Nintendo. That's a partnership that starts this fall. So at some high schools, they're going to offer Super Smash Brothers Ultimate or Splatoon 2 as a varsity level sport that you can play. And Mario Kart Deluxe is coming in spring of 2022.
Yo, that is wild, man. Look at this brave new world. Oh shit. No, I'm not mad. I'm not hating. I love it. This is cool, man. This is cool. You have all these nerds walking around in their jackets, thinking they're hot shit. Got all the other nerds admiring them. And then they can turn it. The nerds are the jocks now, man. The nerds are the jocks. They got the power. Like, it's like the paradigm has been shifting, but like this might be the thing that just tips it over.
Well, especially because if it's done at the high school level, like eventually colleges are going to formally, like, I know that they've been doing, like how long until video games becomes an official NCAA sanctioned sport?
Yeah, man.
How long until you have the NCAA FIFA season kicking off?
How long until you have the meta game of you playing as a video game player, playing a video game? And then you can do Ultimate Team with your video game human avatars playing FIFA. It's levels, man.
Yeah,
levels. This is cool, man.
And I'm glad Nintendo's getting involved into the mix with this.
Well, they as long as you don't steal their games, they that's cool. I dig that. Here's something you'll dig. Amazon. Boy, these I'm getting really bad at these. Go to densepixels.com/Amazon for all of your Amazon purchases. I think I'm going to buy a book called Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir.
Oh, that's on my reading list.
Yeah,
it's one of my next ones to do. I'm reading Snow Crash right now. So.
Oh, you are? Do you like it?
So far it's good. I'm only about a quarter of the way in, give or take, so far. So I just got to where the titular thing has been introduced, essentially.
Okay, man, it's been a long time since I read Snow Crash. I might have to reread that thing, man. I really like that book. I love it. And I'm going to I'm thinking about picking up Project Hail Mary by going to densepixels.com/Amazon. Because when I go to densepixels.com/Amazon to buy that book, I don't pay anything extra, and I'm helping out the show.
That's right.
And that's what you should do too. You can get it. Brad will get it on Kindle for $3 less than what I will be getting it for.
Oh, you're actually going to buy the hard copy?
Yeah, I'll buy the hard copy.
So
I like books.
I like having books, but I like the convenience of ebooks.
Yeah.
So my wife's thing is, and this is probably going to be something I adopt as well. Like, if you like a book, like you got your ebook and you're good. If you really like a book, you go out and buy the hard copy after you've already read it. and then that way you own it. It's like buying it twice. So.
I get it though. I get it. You know what I mean? Like, especially if the book is like, if they're having like a digital sale or something where it's like, the books are like 50% off sometimes. Yeah, I get it.
But that's like the Spongeworthy test, right? Like for for books. Is it Spongeworthy? So I want to go out and spend money to actually own a paper copy of this thing that I will then have to pack into a box and transport when I buy another house at some point. That's really all we're looking at here. Like the Red Rising books that I know I told you about, and I talked about, I mentioned the Discord group as well that I liked a lot. Those will be those, like, I'm gonna buy those on hardback at some point because my wife is also obsessed with them. So
okay.
Like she binged the shit out of it in no time flat. So but like the Mass Effect books, for example, I don't need to own those in hard copy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm good. Like I read them. I'll probably read them again at some point. They're good junk books, but I don't need to have Mass Effect, proudly on my bookshelf.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I got a lot of mass market paperback trash sitting in that bookcase over there that I really don't need. But no, I get it. And I'm starting to do that with hardback books, right? Like I usually just buy like paperbacks or mass market paperbacks, and if there's something that I think I really like, then I'll get a hard copy of it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to I'm gonna try and pick that up tomorrow.
I was debating between that or Snow Crash, and I was in the mood for something more like Cyberpunk related, so I opted for that. But that's probably next up on there. Before that, and I also like I felt like that would be heavier, and Snow Crash would be a little lighter because I just finished reading Hyperion, which was like super heavy.
Yeah.
Like, have you read Hyperion?
I started reading Hyperion and I was just like, "Ooh, this is very dense."
Very dense. Very dense. And like I said, I liked Hyperion fine, but I didn't like it enough to want to read the future Hyperion cantos that are out there. So
right.
Good, but not great. Speaking of a game that's probably going to be good but not great, Far Cry 6 rolled out. I'm not a Far Cry fan typically. They rolled out their gameplay reveal last week. And Naveed Kavari, who's the narrative director of the game, had a quote in the reveal video. Right? It was in an interview. It wasn't in the reveal video. So, Mike, I'm going to read this quote to you, and I want you to get upset. I want you to see if you get upset about it, right? Because, like, when I saw this, I thought for sure that they're at least taking some inspiration from like Castro era Cuba. And it's hard to deny that because it's like they describe the country as being frozen in time, essentially. And that's kind of how the Castro regime was in Cuba throughout the 50s and onward until he died. So they asked him about that, and the quote was this. He says, "We realize it's a complicated island, and our game doesn't want to make a political statement about what's happening in Cuba specifically. Guerrilla movements around the world and throughout history, hence its fictional setting. The conversations and research done on the perspectives of those who fought revolutions in the late 50s and early 60s and beyond are absolutely reflected in our story and characters. But if anyone is seeking a simplified binary political statement specifically on the current political climate in Cuba, they will not find it." So you see that statement. Would the inference that you take from that statement be, well, Far Cry 3 is not going to be a political game, or they're going to avoid politics?
So they're trying to dance around like, oh well, I mean, it's gonna, it's about a revolution and that's political, but we're not gonna say it's political. He's like, he's doing the like, we're not gonna play Paragon or Renegade.
I didn't even get that. I just thought he was saying, no, this is not the Cuba story. Like this isn't like.
Yeah, he's saying this is not the Cuba story, but he's also trying to say like, he's trying his best to say there will be political elements in it, but please still buy our game because we're not gonna say that communism is good or communism is bad. Like, please still play our game, right? Like that's what I'm getting from this. It sounds like a bunch of doublespeak,
right,
to me.
Well, apparently fans of Far Cry were upset and took this to mean that the game will not be political at all, which is funny because like literally that's what the Far Cry series, especially the most recent iterations, have been in some way, shape, or form. Like there's been a political bent, especially in the most recent one. There's been a political bent to them, or like a general politics bent, not necessarily.
Yeah, when you say political, people think dictator or
no.
senator,
Religion,
congressman.
religion, very much
Right.
is a political thing as well, whether you believe it or not. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he had to go. He literally had to go on the Ubisoft blog to clarify. It said that, quote, Far Cry 6 will include hard relevant discussions about the rise of fascism in a nation, the costs of imperialism, forced labor, the need for free and fair elections, LGBTQ plus rights, and more than the context of Yara. Our story is political. A story about a modern revolution must be.
Okay. All right. I mean,
it's literally a story about guerrillas rising up against the regime. Like, I don't understand how any person thought that there wouldn't be politics involved in some way, shape, or form.
There's a goddamn dictator on the cover of the game.
Right.
Like I'm presuming Giancarlo Esposito is playing Castro or whomever.
He is. I don't remember it. I don't remember the character's name, but he is definitely the dictator in power.
Yeah.
In Cuba. And you are definitely playing as this woman who is one of the revolutionaries fighting to depose him, essentially.
Right. Look, I mean, look, yay for them saying flat out, like, yeah, our game is going to have political themes and it's going to be about like certain topics that are going to be, political, but they also have like a crocodile with a gold tooth in there. You know what I mean? Like it's still Far Cry. I wouldn't mind playing this. I don't mind the Far Cry games. They feel like they all feel samey, but
they feel like an Ubisoft open world adventure game.
Yep.
There's too much shit to do. Like I don't mind Ubisoft's games, but I can only take one of them at a time, and I just happen to like Assassin's Creed the best. So that's the one that I'm gonna stick with. So
yeah, like you're still, playing cartographer by climbing towers, and you're still liberating bases and stuff like that. Like
I like hidden blades and swords and stealth and historic periods. I don't necessarily like wilderness and guns and modern day bullshit.
Yeah. And I would play this, but I'm waiting for the inevitable 6-month sale.
A 6-month sale.
Yeah.
Christmas sale. What are you talking about? 2-month sale. It's coming out in October. It'll be $30 on Black Friday. You can take it to the bank. Put it on your calendar now. Michael will buy Far Cry 6 on Black Friday for $20. Oh, sorry, you got to pay the next gen premium for $39.99, and he will play himself some Far Cry. Probably not finish the game.
Probably not.
But enjoy.
That's right. It's the next gen premium. I don't want to pay $40 for it though.
And then just wait 3 more months.
Yeah, I don't want to pay $40 for it. Because I've played this game before.
Right.
It looks pretty, but I've played this game before.
And look, like I said, I tried Far Cry 5. The theme or the story of Far Cry 5 was the most interesting to me, because I am I enjoy seeing like cult shit portrayed in like a narrative form, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I got probably 2 hours into the game, and I was just like, oh, it's just this, huh? It's just this over and over again, huh? Like, okay.
Yep. That's the problem, man. And like, here's the thing with Far Cry, they do a very good job with their trailers of hooking you in, right? Like they have these incredibly interesting characters, these incredibly interesting, quirky antagonists that you just do not interact with throughout the majority of the game. You just don't. And in order to get to the scenes where you have to interact with them, you got to wade through the muck. Yep. And it's not, and some of that muck is fine to play around in for a little bit, but then it's just like, all right, I'm getting tired of this. So there you go.
we go to the post office for just one question this week. Apparently, everyone's too busy playing Mass Effect. The post office question. That's okay, because we'll actually have a shorter show this week, which is nice for you guys at home that have been dealing with these 90-minute shows for the last few. What do you love about compilations that deal with games of the 1980s, 2000s, like Capcom Arcade Stadium? And what do you hate about them? Forgot to add, what is also your favorite compilation for games?
I don't really deal with compilations. I appreciate gaming's history, but I don't go back and play old games unless they really, really affect me. And like I'll play some of those old Capcom games and I'm like, oh, it's Final Fight, right? Like I like Final Fight. Who doesn't like Final Fight, right? But one, I remember how difficult some of those games are, and I just do not. I barely had it in me back then. I just don't have it in me now. And two, I don't get like the nostalgic feels for it. Like nostalgia works on me with a new game trying that is inspired by something from the past. Right? Like that Streets of Rage game, Streets of Rage 4, really fun, right? I would never go back and play Streets of Rage 1, 2, or 3. Like it just doesn't appeal to me. But
so this is one of the few times where Micah is a discerning consumer and I am a sucker. I will absolutely buy the hell out of compilation. I just love that it lets you experience those old games again, and you get a lot of bang for your buck because the compilations are usually fairly cheap. You can get a ton of games in them for a relatively low price. I was tempted. I didn't do it, but I was very tempted to buy the classic Castlevania compilation because it was on sale on the Switch for the past week. And I was like, do I want this? I'm like, I kind of do, but I don't need it. I don't need to have this. Plus, because I have my favorite one on my SNES, thing anyway. So I have Super Castlevania on there. If it had Symphony of the Night, I would have done it. I would have done it, but it didn't because it stopped. It stopped there. The thing I like least about it is the bullshit games that you have to get along with it, which are fine because they're just there. You don't have to play them, but I don't need them to be there. Now, my favorite one of these, the answer may surprise you because I am a known hater of one Sonic the Hedgehog as being an overrated garbage can video game that has admittedly good music, but shit gameplay. However, the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection is my favorite of these compilations that are released because of all the other games that are on it that aren't the core 4 Sonic games. Because it had all the golden axes. It had did it have Streets of Rage? I feel like it had Streets of Rage on there as well. I had Comics Zone on there, which was an interesting game.
Wow.
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which is just Puyo Puyo, which is a great puzzle game. Had Sonic Spinball, which I was a fan of as well. There's a lot of games on there. I'm missing obvious ones, and that I'd like to go back to because there were other great games on the thing that I'm vamping, trying to pull up the
last compilation I bought was the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, the one that had every Street Fighter game.
And see, I didn't buy that because I would have played like 3 of the games on there.
And that's my thing. I only play Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Street Fighter Alpha 2. That's it. Like those are the only 2 that I play.
What else was on this Sonic compilation? Had the Vector Man games. It had Kid Chameleon on there.
See, I never had a Genesis growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think that maybe this would appeal to me, but it really doesn't. Like,
well, see, and I did. So like that's why for me it was a much more had Shinobi 3. Like, yeah, there are a lot of games on there that were worth the price of admissions. That's my favorite one. And also, like, I guess the question is to how broadly do you define a compilation? Because I also have like the Wipeout HD collection on PlayStation that has the 2 PSP and 1 PS3 Wipeout games on it, and that shit's amazing because they remastered it in 1080 and it looks fucking incredible.
I would probably define compilation as a group of games that are not in the same family.
Okay, that's a fair definition of the term. So, but yeah.
So there you go.
So that is it. Thank you, Rev, for your question this week. Again, don't forget you can submit questions whenever the hell you want in the Dense Pixels post office on Discord at densepixels.com/fans, and we'll read them on the show and answer them on the show. Before we get out of here, did you catch the highlights from Double or Nothing? Apparently, it was really good.
I watched Double or Nothing.
Yeah. Big Fender over here.
Yeah, that's it. So I watched Double or Nothing. It was AEW. I don't hate AEW. I'll just say that right now, but I don't
hate them. I just like to make fun of them. So.
Yeah, I am going to be critical of them especially when they need to be critical.
Yeah.
Most of those matches I actually really enjoyed. Some of the wrestling is a little sloppy. But for the most part, if this is their WrestleMania, I think that's true. Is Double or Nothing their WrestleMania, or is all in?
I thought all out or all in or whatever the fuck it's called was their WrestleMania.
Whatever. It was entertaining. I understand that they want to have like a Royal Rumble type event, but their Battle Royal is just weird to me. Like their Casino Battle Royal it starts off with 4 people, and a random suit is drawn. The jacks or the spades come out, right? And it's four people who represent the spades, and then the hearts come out, and 4 more people come out, and then 4 more people come out, and then the Joker comes out, who is usually a surprise guest, and right. In this case, it was Leo Rush. I mean, I like the idea of there being a guaranteed like surprise guest, but it's just a weird format to have all 4 of these people come out. Half of them don't like each other, but they're all coming out the same tunnel. Right. I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's a weird setup. Like they need to fix that a bit. And they did when they had the 2 tunnels, but for some reason they only had 1. Because I guess they were trying to pack as many people in there as possible.
I thought the 2 tunnels is part of their normal arrangement.
Yeah, they only had 1 tunnel this time.
Which from a wrestling logic standpoint actually makes a lot of sense to do 2 tunnels. Like you should
got the faces and the heels.
Right.
So like that's and then obnoxious ass Cody Rhodes comes out the center because like I'm Cody Rhodes, right? But the show overall was pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. Look, Kenny Omega is a phenomenal wrestler. He is. He's just a weird guy. But in terms of an in-ring performer, he's really good. Like that. And the other thing that AEW does that they really, really need to stop are the false finishes.
That's just modern wrestling, man.
I hate it, man. Like you can't. There's only so many like, oh my God, but like when it happens 5, 6, 7 times a match, like it loses something every single time.
I will say, I didn't think that this person would ever get to this stature in my head. It is bizarre seeing Mark Henry in any other company that's not WWE.
Yeah, I was like, when Tony Schiavone said the world's strongest man, I'm like, huh? The guy from that Geico commercial?
Mateen Zalingas?
Yeah, man. I was like, but yeah, seeing Mark Henry come out, that was weird, man.
Yeah.
That was weird. So like AEW is doing their thing. I get it. And they've got a great playbook in WWE. They have more interesting resources. It's just kind of funny seeing like any Stadium Stampede match Like if like I can only imagine what Vince McMahon would do if he had a football team at his disposal.
he used to have 8 of them. He didn't do much. So.
But it was a pretty decent show. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
All right. So I just want to get your quick take on there because it was a lot of the buzz that was happening over the weekend. Yeah. So yeah, again, Discord, densepixels.com/fans. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube at youtube.com/densepixels and follow us on Twitch. I'm DensePixels Brad. Terrence is Apparition 410 and Carrie is It's Carrie. That's it. We will see you guys next week. I'm sure we'll have some pre-E3 stuff to talk about. It's right around the corner, Micah, if you can believe it. So,
every year I'm like, I can't believe it. And then it's here and then I get all excited.
Yeah.
And this will be a real test because I'm not pre-ordering games anymore. Or I'm trying my best to not pre-order games anymore. I mean, who are we kidding, right? Let me not lie on Al Gore's internet, but I'm going to try my best to not pre-order any games. So we'll see how that works, right?
Let me ask you this question. I guess actually that's not a good example because you don't have to pre-order that because you have Xbox. So like I was going to say, Starfield looks amazing.
Yeah, guess what? I will pre-download it.
Right now, I'm trying to think of what they could.
What's Spider-Man?
Oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah, if Spider-Man comes out, it's done. It's already, it's done. That's the only game that I guarantee you I will pre. Everything else is conflict.
Cool. That's it for us. See you next week.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.